What's going on? All right, let's start like this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yo, man, Bilewater,
Oh, yeah.
Bilehaven,
Mhm.
the Gauntlet, and Groal the Great.
Have you ever? Oh, so how many attempts are we talking about on this run? We're talking about Silk Song, by the way. We're talking about the infamous Bilewater Gauntlet to get to a fairly difficult boss.
Oh, it's too much. It's too much, and it's bullshit. And as soon
Let's
as
start. How many attempts
on Groal?
on the whole schlemiel?
Okay, so on the whole thing, I'm probably gonna say 10.
Okay.
And on Groal, I'm gonna say 3 because upon discovery of a very useful trick, that
was
right?
the trick hang out in the water?
Hang out in the water.
It's a really good trick. The whole zone teaches you to not do that, and then you're like, oh, the boss can't do nothing to me in here. Nothing.
That trick, fuck that fight entirely. I'm hanging out in the water, and I'm gonna take pot shots, and then just run back in the water. We're not even engaging with this fight. You know,
it's funny because Groal is. So one of the things that happens in Silk Song, and Groal is a really good example, is that everything in Silk Song is the opposite of the same thing in Hollow Knight. Unless it's exactly the same. So Groal is the same kind of looking guy as Soul Master. And Soul Master also had a god-awful run back in Hollow Knight and was also like super tough.
It's the combination, of course, because now that I see, like, oh, we talked about the area before and the fake bench, and now you're like, no, here's an actual proper go fuck yourself.
That one's fucking for real, man.
That's a for real ass go fuck yourself fake bench. Yeah. And even after mitigating it with a real bench, it's still just a pain in the ass, right?
Oh, it's massive fucking pain.
And the thing that I said this before about enemies in the game, but like, there's enemies that are not necessarily hard. They're just annoying because you don't want to deal with them, but they're so evasive.
The Bilewater shits are the worst because they actually come back to life forever.
Okay, so there's that, right? And then there's the part where I've noticed that like Bilewater.
I can take this fucking thing. Oh my god, that wig is so itchy. Oh my god.
Yo, your head is so red.
Oh, it's so itchy, dude. Oh my god. I'm trying to keep it on for as long as possible for the bit, but I literally can't. I'm gonna scream.
Okay, I think you have permission. I think you're all right.
I'm gonna fucking scream.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. I think that's why they get the you can get like a little cap, you know, underneath the wig to make sure that your head doesn't directly interface with the itchiness. When you get like a weave cap.
You know what? We'll just do this. I have a backup plan.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. That'll do it. Good. Yeah, good shit.
Now we're clown trucking.
Well, now you're just down with the clown, right?
Yeah.
Now you're just full on whoop whoop.
Now I'm ready to go to the Dark Carnival.
Yeah, like this is just absolutely family.
Yeah.
So it completely transitioned into full on Juggalo the moment you add the black hat to it.
Put on backwards.
Oh my god, the Juggalo. Get your Hatchet Man tattoos out. Wow. I'm
gonna need to fix this. Ugh. But yeah.
How the fuck do magnets work? Incredible.
I don't know. All I know is scientists are lying and getting me pissed.
So what was I gonna say? The enemies are doing something here that I feel like is a little different from others, which is their tracking is at the last possible second before the animation for the attack begins. right?
Oh, tracking on Silksong is really aggressive. It's actually super aggressive. And there's three types of tracking. There's three types of tracking: horizontal, vertical, and downwards. Horizontal swipes and projectile swipes, enemies will actually like input read you on some occasions.
Yeah.
Pogoing, they absolutely input read your position, not the pogo, but your physical position. Once you get into the right angle for pogos on certain enemies, if they're not committed, they will actually move backwards.
Yeah.
But similarly to how everything in Hollow Knight is reversed from everything in Silksong, the up slash does not have reactive tracking on it.
Interesting.
Shooting your slashes directly upwards, enemies pretend you're not even there.
Interesting. So I've noticed it because the flying barf flies, when you pogo them, they get the fuck out of the way in an input reading way. I would also say that the area right underneath Songclave has the floating orb throwers, and those orbs track in a way where most games you know the trajectory of a projectile coming at you, so you anticipate it and then you jump to be somewhere and to then be out of the way by the time it reaches. You know how to do that little visual calculus. And this game goes, no, I'm going to shoot that projectile up where you're going to be on that evasive jump.
Yeah, no, they aim at your trajectory. Yeah. It's crazy.
And I'm like, this is the only time I felt
super impressive. The guys in
only time I felt
Bilewater
this in a game.
Absolutely unbelievable predictive aim.
It's crazy. The darts are not going at my evasive jump like over it, or they're going where at the peak of the jump. And I'm like,
and it's like you have to not use your air dash, because if you air dash and then jump, you have no control over your existing trajectory, and they will hit you.
Exactly. And it's rough because I'm like, the character's in the air and it's all startup. It's getting ready to throw. It's getting ready to blow the projectile, and it hasn't done it yet. And you're like, I'm going to assume you're locked into your position because the animation is still starting, and I'm going to jump now so that I'm moving vertically. And it's like, no, as soon as it leaves their position, it's now on to catch you at the top of your parabola. Absolute nonsense, by the way, on that.
The enemy variety and enemy, I would say proficiency is like crazy in Silksong. The game's really hard.
Yeah, there's.
I would genuinely put it up above like a Dark Souls game. Like I was talking to somebody who will remain nameless, who was talking to me and going, "Oh my fucking," they were quite a bit further than where you are, and they're like, "Oh my god, I think I might have to stop." Right, I'm stuck at a boss. And I said, well, don't worry, you don't actually have to fight that boss. And they're like, okay. I'm like, you have to actually fight a harder, different boss instead.
Yeah.
And they were like, I can't.
Yeah.
Okay, we were talking about it. And I'm of two minds when I talk about Silksong's difficulty level. On the one hand, I'm like, yeah, no, this game is actually fucked up. It's super hard. Like, it's super fucking hard. And like, especially as a follow-up to Hollow Knight, which was like considerably easier for most of its content, it's like nuts. Like, I feel like some people are set up, like they were tricked into getting excited for the Silksong. But on the other hand, when I beat Silksong, my balls were huge. And then sometimes when people complain to me, I'm like, how about you go find your fucking balls down in your pants? But and I don't know which one of those I feel more strongly about.
Well, I will say this, right? When I look back on bosses like the entire setup to Groal, it feels like upon accomplishing, it doesn't really feel like, oh, that was sick, I did it, yay. It feels like, fuck this bullshit, I'm upset at the game, right?
So,
and then you get the contrast with a satisfying, in a moment with like where you have a satisfying boss in a Souls game. I felt that immediately in this, because the next thing I faced in Silksong was the first sinner.
Yeah.
And
That thing fucking kicks ass.
okay, so I'm not done yet. Like I was trying to see if I'm like, can I beat this in before tomorrow, and I didn't. Right, so I still have
that thing.
But it feels so
ass,
good,
dude.
and it feels
that's like the second best fight in the whole goddamn game. That thing's excellent.
It's phenomenally fun. It's phenomenally sick. It requires so much of you, and it feels like fair in a way that is like, if you be aggressive, you can keep up, but barely. Yeah. And that is so rewarding.
That's a really good rule for every boss you're going to fight ever again in this game.
Man, and I'm like, the difference in how that feels compared to the slogs and the bullshit is tremendous. And I want more of that. This is the game at its peak when you are dancing around the screen with a thing that is teleporting and landing hits, but barely, because most of the time you're too slow to get that swing in there. And you're like, I'm not going to avoid that damage. I don't care. I need to heal by hitting you enough, so I'll take the hit and keep fucking chasing you. It's such a sick feeling for a boss fight.
So you are partially correct. Much like Hollow Knight, this game has various different parts of the game that are the real game, right? That is definitely the most to your taste, which is, it's a fucking fighting game. Like it really is actually just a fucking fighting game. Like there's a bunch of boss fights in this game that are just one-on-one shit fests.
I mean, you're Dragon Ball fighting all over the screen.
Oh, absolutely,
you know? But you're doing it for real.
Another one where it's like, no, let's literally have a Devil May Cry fight.
Sure.
Right? And there's a couple others, but Team Cherry says, you know what else is just as much a part of a game? Fighting a gauntlet of unique enemy compositions.
Yeah. There's that.
Which it seems to be people's like primary complaint, is that the gauntlet actually does them in way before the boss does. There's one gauntlet in the game that I'm pretty sure you haven't done, which is like,
is it
primo fuck?
Okay. Is it the gauntlet? Is it the gauntlet above or the gauntlet just above the where the clock dancers are?
So the upper left of those guys.
Yep, I did that. Did that. It's
that
fucked.
One
it's
is
super
crazy.
Fucked. It's so insane because it's
supposed to be like a final boss style enemy. It just happens to be an enemy gauntlet instead of a
that was insane because it's a full gauntlet and then it just decides to keep going, and then
it just decides to keep going again.
And what normal bosses do, or what normal gauntlets do, is they'll give you a wave of easy enemies to heal off of. But here, they just decide, no, heal off of the regular ones, and they're all doing their evasive screen-fulling bullshit tactics. And the only thing was, I came into that, and I went, I beat it, and then I didn't, or I thought I beat it, and then it was like, no, we're not done. And I was like, go fuck yourself, right? And then I kind of went...
I on my first run, I got to the mini-boss, and I'm like, when I beat that mini-boss, we're going to be golden. It's like, no, that's the fucking...
Exactly, right? Because the mini boss, and it's funny when you see a big fat like club fuck, because there's a couple of boss archetypes, and like one of these in Silksong and in Hollow Knight is the big fat club fuck that just goes brrr, bah, jump, bah, and occasionally and you kind of like, I know the deal with you, but you're just going to be annoying. You're going to take a while, and your hitbox is going to be massive.
And your hitbox and your hurtbox are like enormous, and they cover like a huge amount of the screen. I really hope I don't have to fight two of you.
But the clue for me was earlier in this zone, you showed me that I can acquire a cogwork fly, and I went,
that thing is fucking busted.
Yeah. I went, oh, okay, I see what you're doing here. I think you wanted that in preparation for this. So I went back to go pick up a fucking brick, a craft metal that I didn't have. Then I got the cogwork fly. Then I ran back in there with some poison-ass cogwork flies, and the situation changed.
That is a build. So you use that with Architect, and you do cog fly plus tax plus like the saw blade. And if you're willing to just blow all of your resources, you can just auto delete. You can turn off entire encounters. And I saw that, and then I immediately stopped using it for the whole rest of the game because there were fights that I wanted to fucking see, and that thing just fucks it.
So I don't have the saw blade, and I'm not going back to the architect because I just like the Reaper moveset too much. I've gotten too used to it, and I tried to do a couple of I moved around the game platforming with the architect and was doing okay. But when it came to boss fights and precision, no, I want my Shoryuken.
I have a sneaking suspicion. You have 6 of the 7, right?
I have Hunter, Reaper, Wanderer, Beast, and Architect.
Oh, okay. I have a sneaking suspicion that the last one will appeal to you.
Okay.
Very strong.
I mean, the Giga Drill Breaker is sick, but it's not worth the sacrifice of every other move that I really like, you know?
I also think that the 6th one will greatly appeal to you. The 2 that you don't have?
Yeah. And sometimes I clutch out by popping a heal and then getting enough orbs from getting aggressive in that glowing buff to like keep me alive, you know? So like I'm okay with that. And in fact, what I would say is if I do a boss and I use my tools and don't get significant progress out of them in like 2 tries, I stop wasting my chips, you know? Because I went in and I fought, for example, Broodmother, right? Where the screen is just filled with fuck. And that's, okay, big, flying, bloated, gross fuck is another boss type, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say Broodmother goes into that category. Chef Lugia, right? Where
that boss broke on me like 4 times.
Whoa.
The patch has since fixed, but they would like shoot off the screen and just never come back.
Huh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, it was a weird
and then it doesn't die?
Wrinkle on it. By the way, Woolie, I'm going to send you a map picture with no other information whatsoever.
Okay.
Just a picture of the in-game map.
Okay.
Because you totally missed the starting point for the 6th crest.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, there was some shit.
Here is a picture. That's the wrong picture.
Yep. I also realized I missed there's extremely missable secret rooms, including
crazy secret. So you see the photo I sent you that just has a little red circle?
Yeah. Okay.
That is the start of it.
I see. Okay, I missed that.
It is way the fuck in there, and it's in a place you don't want to be.
So the point where my brain decided to give up on the like, oh, you missed it, too bad, was there was a secret room apparently inside one of the chapels that shuts that you can never go back in once you exit.
I don't think that's true.
Apparently the Church of the Architect had a secret room in it, and then you leave and you can never go back in.
Nothing will stop you from getting 100% ever.
Okay. Well,
maybe. Okay. It's people are saying it's lore only. It doesn't count for completion.
Okay. That still sucks. Permanently missable, right? So all this, I'm like, yep, okay. Mentally, I'm just going to let it go. But the what was I saying? Yeah, the attempt goes and you fight one of the big fucking fly gross fucks, Broodmother, filling the screen with shit going blah, or the chef, and in the case of the Broodmother, it's kind of like, okay, avoid the swoops and avoid the butt slams and do the thing. But then you fight the chef version, and the butt slams are meant to trick you because it has like 3 startup animations, but 2 are identical.
Fat hot too.
You know? And then you're like, oh, what's the trick here? What's the bit? And the bit's like, you can run underneath it, but every once in a while, it does the same fake startup animation. So fuck you, you know? And then you get infected and gross. And yeah, with those ones, I'm just like, go cogflies, fuck this bullshit.
Yeah, and they do.
But what ends up happening a lot of the time is like, if I don't see like a phase 2 begin or something, then I'm like, okay, never mind, go in clean, learn the movements, do the whole bit, right, and pull them out.
It's a phase 2, then pull out.
Then pull out the bullshit if you need to, exactly, you know, because Yeah, there's a couple of
Yeah,
those.
you're really gonna like the other two crests.
But there's a couple of those definitely where I'm like, when you see phase 2 going crazy, but you can see it, right? It took a while for, I talked about it with the Grim Troop in the first game, and then the same thing for the judge, the last judge, and with this, when fighting the fireworks dancer.
Tromeo!
Yeah, that's a good example of like, oh shit, phase 2 is going crazy.
Most, like, maybe the best NPC in the entire fucking game. That dude rules.
So cool, right? You're watching phase 2 go crazy, but you're like, this is all smoke. I can see it. I can move. I can get out of the way.
Yeah, there's a tell before every single hit.
It's not
every single one.
That's it. And so it's not that bad as long, and that's training you for like seeing the trajectories of things and being out of the way before it starts. I love those fights where your eyes are tracking something blipping around the screen and faking you out and reacting to your positioning.
Eventually I just started to look for empty space instead of tracking any of his stuff. I'm like, what part of the screen doesn't have shit in it?
A skill that
I'm gonna go live in there.
Yes, something that a feeling that I haven't felt since like Ikaruga. Just like get to this part of the screen, invert the colors, right? So that was great. I properly appreciate the feeling I'm getting off the first sinner. And another thing too is, so I've gone through.
First sinner's a massive highlight of that game, and boy, is it fucking hidden as shit.
Yeah,
it's the fuck in there. It's way in there.
And like the process of beginning that fight also properly feels like, is this the super boss? Because there's all that build up.
No,
I know, but the fact that there's all that build up and the fact that it spits you back out right in front to be like, hey, we know. Is like,
hey, I'll tell you who the fucking super boss of fucking Silk Song is. It's the fucking final boss.
Yeah, okay. Because I'm like, they're being really build up-y, like, nice about this and warning, and I'm getting a big dramatic feeling about it. But so far it feels extremely sick and fair, But I want to say when it comes to the Silk skills, so now that I got, you have your spear, you got your thread storm, I got cross stitch, and the sharp dart now. And I was like, ooh, sharp dart looks like it's going to get me out of the situation that I don't want to be in and do some damage. That sounds nice. But, and then I did the parry for a while and that felt really good, but then the damage isn't amazing. And I kind of was like, I don't think anything is going to beat Threadstorm for me. I just went back to it because I realized that like there are many times in a boss fight where it's a fuck this button, right? And I'm like, I don't want to.
Okay, so
so
Threadstorm does the second most damage of any single hit in the entire game.
Okay,
like
it feels like it.
If you mash it out and you combine all the hits into like one damage number, it's like super high. The parry is great because it's not as much damage as Threadstorm.
You can mash.
Yeah, you can mash it. You get more hits. Yeah. So the parry isn't as good as Threadstorm damage wise, but the parry is also free and is also defensive. Like you can hit the parry super fucking easy.
Yeah.
There is two more, and one of those has very high damage and also will always hit what you're aiming at.
Okay.
So that one is, I was flip-flopping between the last Silk skill and cross stitch, like back and forth.
But I feel like the kit needs something that deals with mobs, right?
Yeah.
And a surrounded mob, Threadstorm is so good, especially.
The only problem I had with Threadstorm is that sometimes you do it and the fucking enemy just moves.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, but I fucking blew it.
But like Threadstorm was the game changer for that super gauntlet when the botfly summoners come down, and I'm just like, shut up, leave me alone. Threadstorm deletes all the botflies and the character and the dude you're fighting, right? And Threadstorm was the difference between loss and victory against the super beast fly, because Super Beast Fly or Beast Fly 2, the moment I caught that a full thread storm kills off one of the ads, it became nothing. Because chasing the ads down became the priority of that fight. And they look small, but they take 4 hits or so, which is just like one too many to be annoying, you know? And a thread storm deletes them, and then that made it like way more manageable. So yeah, I'll see how it goes, but for now I'm just like, I'm relying on it for the leave me alone button. Also, I appreciate now I get the face you made, but like the fake out on Mount Faye was pretty solid. I'm like, I'm gonna come back here when I get my Various suit.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're gonna fucking do
You're
it
gonna
now.
do it. You're gonna do it. Yeah. You're not, you know, like, oh, you will get one, but it's not gonna be when you expect it, you know? So that was like, oh, I misunderstood what the challenge was here. And upon doing so, it's like, okay, this is a proper platforming challenge for the game.
So that is the hardest platforming challenge in the entire game.
I loved it.
There's one later that's pretty tough, but it's nothing compared to like having the fucking being timed.
Yeah. But it's crazy how much the harpoon saves you. You know?
Yeah, well, that's what that shit's supposed to teach you. That whole sequence is like, did you know that we put the harpoon in this game and it's fucking incredible?
It's crazy. What's funny and stupid about platforming, though, unfortunately, is I had a build that involved the blade skirt. And
yeah, no, you got to turn that off. I also did that. I also had to go back and turn it off.
It sucks because your blade skirt is activating the bounce flies that you need, and like the ones that blow up full of like piss and shit in the Bilewater, like you can still bounce off of them while they're starting to explode. So if your timing is right, then you can, but it just makes it harder because sometimes you miss and take damage instead, you know? So you have to take off the blade skirt for that shit. Yeah. And it lets you do really cool combos, but not when platforming is necessary. But that's pretty much it, you know? That's where I'm at. Real cool. Like the flow of this, and you know, some of those bigger enemies that you're running into that like there's those Clockwork Knights that are just like, no, I got a shield up and I'm gonna be defensive and I'm gonna block everything.
I'm gonna be really annoying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be really annoying. Find
your way around it, you know. Yeah, occasionally you have to take some of these little shits seriously. And I don't.
There is a disproportionately high amount of regular enemies in Silksong that you have to take seriously compared to almost any other video game.
Yeah, no, there are times where I'm on Final Pip and I'm like, let me just go kill a couple of regular grunts, and I see like the clock grunt that like slashes running forward, and I'm like, nah, fuck that thing, right? That's not going to be easy life, you know. And a couple of them are, I'm just like, nah, fuck this, I'm going back to the bench, you know. Good stuff on that. I'll check back in.
That game's great. And I think that its difficulty is like genuinely like I think it's perfect for me. Man, I think the single biggest difficulty thing they did to change that game, they already did, was they changed stage hazards from doing 2 pips of damage to 1 pip of damage.
Okay, yeah. That's big. That's big.
There were a weirdly high amount of situations in the game where an enemy hits you for 2 hearts or 2 masks into
a stage hazard for 2.
Into a stage hazard, and then getting out of the stage hazard gets you hit again, and it's like, that's 6 hearts.
It's absolute
that's
batshit.
Insane.
Absolutely batshit. Yeah. Totally. I'm gonna say that like, no, the Bilewater stretch was like, that was obnoxious and like,
I'm glad it only took me 3 tries. I'm really glad it only took me 3 tries.
I don't know if that water method was intended or not, but the fact that it's there is a like absolutely go fuck yourself with this fight.
I only found out about it afterwards. I just did it the the straightforward way.
Okay, because it feels like
it was rough.
Because it feels like a fight where you'd want to almost like maybe there's a room upstairs where you can drop something on him, or like maybe there's a way to delete this bullshit, because the fact that you want to hit this entire zone up and it's the most annoying zone and you can barely traverse it, and then healing is a problem and the enemies are the worst ever.
They wanted deep nest and they totally did.
God, man, beyond obnoxious, just too much, and mandatory. So, anyway,
I don't know how much of that game is mandatory. Honestly, it's actually fairly complex as to what is and is not mandatory.
Well, I did as much as I thought I could until I realized I'm like the only place left that was obvious that I didn't scrape out was the cold area, where I was like, my brain was waiting for the game to give me a warm vest somewhere elsewhere.
And it will.
Yeah. So, but that was the thing I did last, because I was like, wait, you're really not going to give me a thing to deal with this threat, So that's, upon investigation, it made more sense. Yeah.
Why would we give you something to deal with the cold when you got your fucking balls in your pants?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what that game feels like when it talks to you. It's like a big fat Italian guy telling you, why did you find your fucking balls? I'm like, okay, Jesus, calm down, fuck.
Also,
stop yelling.
Chakra is insanely beast.
She's so cool. She's so fucking cool.
Just like, yeah, I'm already here. Don't worry about it. I can do it.
And then when you meet her in Bilewater, she's like, wow, this place sucks.
I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck, Chakra? How? Actually, how? Yeah, good stuff on that.